Alright, I should have done this video like last month, but that just didn't happen. I was thinking of doing this video, but it just, stuff could get in the way, so let's do it now. Things wrong in comics related in 2025. Yep, month overdue. So, what things were bad last year? For one thing, we had two major comic creator deaths last year. There was Peter David, which he was awesome in person, and also Jim Shooter. I was very sad. I didn't know these two people very well, but I love these two people's works. I messaged Peter David's widow on Patreon. I even asked her this. Was Peter a grandchild spoiler? And she said, yes. He loved his grandkids. And, of course, also, I do support his Patreon, despite the fact that that's kind of keeping her afloat now, because, God forbid, Marvel Comics give basically any kind of, like, retirement fund or whatever. I mean, that's kind of dumb, though. This is the widow of one of Marvel's best-known creators in the last 40 years. And they're not paying her some kind of insurance or whatever. At least something to live off of. Because Peter David made Marvel Comics a lot of money over the years. I don't know how DC Comics, basically, how they're with them. But DC probably should do the same thing with Peter David's family, as give him something. Last I heard, Kate, that was Peter David's widow, where she's looking for a job, and basically Peter's disability was the only thing she was living off of. Well, he was basically he was battling a lot of health issues over the years. I had not seen Peter David since 2019 before he passed, which also was the last time I saw Neil Adams before he passed away. Jim Shooter, actually saw him at last year's MegaCon Orlando. Yeah, he was there. And then I heard he passed away just a few months ago. I was sad to see him go. Eric July, who is, by the way, going to be at MegaCon Orlando next month, he basically posted a video about his thoughts about the passing of Jim Shooter. So did Rob Liefeld. Good to him for doing that. So, aside from those things, now, DC didn't have any major issues per se. Not a lot of them per se. I mean, they didn't cancel many titles last year, surprisingly. Well, they did cancel one, but for a good reason. There was going to be a Red Hood title done by a person who's transgender. And, oh boy, this person. Those of you know who I'm talking about. It was the former writer of what was going to be a Red Hood ongoing series. They got canceled after one issue because this person put their foot in their mouth on Twitter. Yes, the one where this person called Charlie Kirk an atheist and a Nazi because he was a political commentator. And she thought, and this person, I hope the bullet was okay. DC's response: fired this person from the book and recalled the book. And this person, oh boy, I didn't know the fact this person basically had made stupid comments. Like, apparently this person was happy 9/11 happened. I'm like, what is this person's deal? Like, because of stuff basically this person on Twitter, this person should be banned from Twitter. And those of you know who I'm talking about, look up. Or apparently, also Bleeding Cool barely mentioned about the reason why this person got fired. The person got fired because of comments that this person made on Twitter. Very bad comments. And Bleeding Cool just didn't give a damn. Nope, they didn't care. My opinion from DC Comics, smart move to fire that person. But also, never should hire this person in the first place. This bad. So, there are some wrestling ones I'm going to talk about here next. The ticket price has been too high. That's been a thing for quite a while. WWE PLA same day as AEW pay-per-views. People know about that. I don't agree with it, but apparently it's good for competition. Apparently, this is a big one. Where, and I agree with a lot of people, this is a terrible idea. Taking WrestleMania and going to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, by far not a good idea. Not a good idea indeed. It is by far one of the dumbest things WWE has done with their relationship with Saudi Arabia. It's like, okay, they took a Rumble over there, and I watched it. And I'm like, this stadium does not look full at all because of stupid lights staying in the seats. And they also claimed that, oh, despite the fact it's a sellout, it doesn't look like it was freaking full. And apparently they claim, oh, Arabs, basic people there, oh no, for being late for stuff. Why? Because they pray a lot? People who are WWE fans have never comfortable with a relationship with Saudi Arabia. This is something Vince McMahon started. And TKO have no choice but to continue this relationship. Who knows how much longer this is going to last for. And some are hoping that AEW does something to counter program this. Because, and also, I did see the announce video. Yeah, the press conference that they called it. Nobody there. You can't call a press conference with nobody there. And, like, there's no press basic ask questions. Because, and also, oh boy. They made some dumb ideas. This is one of them. Another thing about Brock Lesnar, a guy who was named in a sexual sex trafficking lawsuit. Which that did win basically most disgusting promotional tactic of last year, which I kind of agree with that. Yeah, his performance, like, I'm sure in the ring he's fine. I'll say him destroying NXT was not a good idea, but. And a lot of stuff really WWE last year was so stupid, and I kind of agree with Brian Zane. With his number one thing with wrong in wrestling last year. WWE has lost the plot. Given the product, I can kind of buy that. Like, here's some examples. Drew versus Cody is going since last summer and still going. It's like, some programs are spinning their wheels. They just can't end or just move on. AEW is kicking the butt in the ratings. Yes, they are. It's something though. For a period of 2 years, everything was doing perfectly fine. 2023, no problem. 2024, no problem. Start 2025, no problem. And at the Elimination Chamber, everything went completely downhill. Yeah. But at least AEW a lot better product, in my opinion. But so, another thing was Marvel still doing this dumb thing of axing titles at a very short period of time. And guess what the most popular number to end it now is? Is it 12? No. It's freaking 10. Like, they cancel really good titles. Titles like Deadpool Wolverine, Spider-Man Deadpool. After releasing 10 freaking issues. 10. It's like, and I don't know which editor at Marvel Comics said this, and in my opinion, this probably would turn up a lot of people from Marvel Comics because it's nonsense. And you're probably thinking, what exactly do you mean? There was this editor of Marvel Comics who said, be lucky you have 10 issues. Like, one of those books that canceled 10 issues was freaking Iron Man. Iron Man! Has anyone heard of an Iron Man run lasting for 10 issues? 10? Yeah, freaking Iron Man. You expect this from other titles, but not Iron Man. One of the more premier titles of Marvel Comics. And I read it. It was okay. Probably by far one of the dumbest things they did with that book was giving a race change to Melinda May. Yes. Who, if you look at the artwork in the comic book, Oh, this is Melinda May, the Cavalry. And I'm like, I look at this woman, I'm like, no, that's not Melinda May. That is a woman you claim to be Melinda May. And then we kind of Melinda May show up one issue, and because for some weird reason, I have no idea why this is, the writer thought we got an idea to make her black for no reason. Like, this woman is Chinese, and basically, this woman is basically based on an actual actress, because this is a woman who was appeared on the Agents of a TV show. Also, when she first showed up, for some weird reason, we had the draw look like the actress who plays Martha Jones from Doctor Who. Why to pick her of all people, I have no idea why. It was so stupid, and anybody who knows Melinda May knows that's not Melinda May. That is not her at all. Nobody can buy the fact this is Melinda May. You can claim this is Melinda May, but it's not. And then we're like, oh, I'll put more black characters in the comic. I'll put Rhoda in the comic. Or I don't know, put in there, like, I don't know, how about Monica Rambeau? You Melinda May comic, fine. Keep her as Asian because she's Chinese. Oh, a lot of those ideas were so stupid last year. Of course, wrapping up Zeb Wells one last year, which was something that I think a lot of people were so happy with the fact that was basically went bye-bye last year. I think it was like very early last year that they got wrapped up and got first it was continued for about 10 issues, which I still haven't reviewed it yet, of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, which is a prologue to the event I just reviewed recently. Now, what we're going to do, I basically, I did review recently, actually just yesterday I did a review of this thing, where I didn't necessarily have a problem with the main miniseries. That was not the issue. I appreciate, though, this is better than Blood Hunt Venom War. At least they put a lot more important stuff in the action series where it's supposed to be, and not basically shove all the important stuff in the frickin' tie-ins. My only problem with One World Under Doom is that there's way too many tie-ins. Way too many. One series, which I thought was going to be a 10-issue ongoing, an actual ongoing, nope, got canceled 10 issues, and the whole entire book was all a tie-in to One World Under Doom. The entire series. You finally give a solo book under the name Red Hulk that's not tied into some other book, and you do this nonsense. Yeah. Excuse me. Was there anything else I want to bring up here? Let's see. Oh yeah, there's some celebrities, like we lost Gene Hackman last year. I think Gene Hackman was this year. We actually lose some famous celebrities last year. I mean, just recently, Robert Duvall just passed away. And we did do celebrities last year. I don't exactly remember who passed away last year. Look up on here. I'm just going to try to look at my... Hang on. Oh yeah, there was also Catherine O'Hara. Let's see. No. Thank you. Okay, it was just there was Gene Hackman, Rob Redford, Val Kilmer, Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, David Lynch, Michelle Trachtenberg at age 39, the youngest person passed away last year. Laura Swat, Michael Madison. Yeah, he was not really from the actor to me. Um, George Foreman, the boxer. He passed last year at age 76. So, oh yeah, there's also Booch Goose. Love the guy's artwork. No get to me in person. Let's see. I think that was it for major ones. Um, I know there were others. It's just that I wasn't familiar with a lot of these people per se. Sadly. hmm But as for titles ended last year, I know Iron Man was one of them. Oh yeah, they ended Storm. Yeah, that ended last year. Psylocke. I think Scarlet Witch is one of them. Of course, that's relaunched as Deadpool, Spider Boy, Spider Man, X Force, NYX, Weapon X Men. That was supposed to be ongoing. They changed the mini limited series for no reason at all. DC just only canceled Power Girl and Shazam, and that was it. Yeah, only two. Which I kind of find a little surprising, the fact that just these two titles basically ended. I think also another one was like Psylocke that ended last year after only releasing 10 issues, which don't know why. I think Exemplar X-Men that ended too after only releasing like 13 issues. 13. Yeah. It's kind of weird though, the fact the only titles in for DC last year just Power Girl and Shazam. And I think also Brave and the Bold and Brave Dallas ended last year too. I think that was it. It's the ones I could think of anyways. And also, they just recently announced that, oh boy, this is something interesting though. So, DC relaunched Batman last year for a random one by Matt Fraction, despite the fact that the previous one is not finished publishing yet. Isn't that kind of weird? Yes. Because Jim Lee is taking just his sweet time release to get his comics released. Because this storyline, Hush 2, has not finished the first half of the storyline. Like, by the way, the final issue, still not been released yet. These comics have been delayed because Jim Lee is being unprofessional with this thing. And I get the fact he takes a sweet time. Like, DC, if you know that Jim Lee is going to take his sweet time releasing his comics, here's what you do. You take Jim Lee off the comic book. I get the fact he was the artist behind Hush, but I would pick an artist that Jeff Loeb has worked with to finish his storyline. You know, is a really good example of an artist who's worked with Jeff Loeb, who has worked with him several times. And get this, the books come out completely on time. The artist being Ed McGuinness. Yes, bring him in. I'm sure he'd be happy to work on this. Yes, just like as soon as Jim Lee is finished the comic, just take him off the comic. Bring Ed McGuinness to finish the story and get it done. Because of this delay, they delayed the next issue, which it's not going to release until July. Yes, frickin' July. And you're like, why? Yeah, this was so frickin' dumb on DC's part. Like it was completely questionable at best. When they decided to just, of all things, just put Jim Lee on this book in. Like, this is now apparently not on the list of comics he's worked on, where it remains unfinished. Because of Jim Lee. Yes, all because of Jim Lee. I get the fact, yes, DC, he puts out good comic books. So in case you're curious though, what was the most recent issue that came out? 162 Batman. Yes, 162. Which, that came out 3 months ago. Yes. 3 months ago. And they started the storyline as of next month, 1 year ago. Yes, this Hush storyline. Oh boy. So, first issue released in March. Second issue released in April. Okay, not bad. Third part released in May. Okay. So we're still on time here. Like, when did the delay start? Right after the third part. Yeah, they delayed issue 161 by 2 months. Released in July, 2 months later. And then 162. By the way, I should remind you, 160 came out in July. 162 came out in November. People had to wait 5 freaking months between issues. 5 months. And now, DC has delayed 163 to the month of July. Yes, July. So basically, readers are going to get so confused about this book. So, you probably think, like, is there any creator who's worked with Jeff Loeb aside from Jim Lee and maybe Ed McGuinness who have worked with him on titles? Well, you think, okay, well, what about Tim Sale? Passed away a few years ago, so he's basically out of the question. He's a big no. No. So, was there like any other artists he's worked with aside from Tim Sale, Ed McGuinness, and Jim Lee? That is a freaking collaborator of his. None. Just these three. So that's what I suggest. To finish Hush 2, bring in Ed McGuinness. I'm sure he's probably on good terms with DC Comics. But I would think that he'd be perfect to work on these comics. I don't think he's working anything right now. Not that I know of. So that's just DC do. Would I bring Lee Majamaro? Probably not, because these two have not worked together in a comic before. Like, I get the fact people have basically nostalgia for Jim Lee work on Hush. Fine. But they need to pick a different artist. Like, if you want this book to survive, pick a different artist. And like I keep saying, Tim Sale is off the table because he's no longer alive. So Tim Sale's a no. And if Jim Lee is going to continue doing this with all these delays, just bring in Ed McGuinness. Like I said, I'm sure he'd be happy to work with Jeff Loeb. I'm sure he'd be happy. Just have Jim Lee pass his notes off to Ed McGuinness. I get the fact that you do two completely different art styles, but he's the only option you have. At least Ed McGuinness does not have an issue releasing a comic book on time. You've been thinking, okay, was there maybe a Marvel that Jeff Loeb's on besides maybe... Like, is there anybody he's worked with at Marvel where, besides Tim Sale, that he has worked with a lot? It's interesting, though. He's going to book Marvel now. X-Men Apocalypse. Will I bring Sam Mundo? No, because I'm sure Sam Mundo wants to focus on X-Men Apocalypse. Maybe just... Actually, no. I think, because of the fact this is a limited series, maybe you could bring in this artist. I don't see how... Like... I'm sure this artist would be perfectly fine to work on a Batman comic. But... just bring in somebody so we can finish this damn comic book, so we have to keep delaying the damn thing. But that's DC for you. Aside from the Red Hood thing, this is the only kind of thing that was good on paper. But if you see the result, yeah, this was kind of a bad idea. So that's end this video here. So that's pretty much the particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, notifications. Next up, back to Noble Reincarnation. Next video. Bye.